Alright, I think I'm live again. I have no idea, to be honest with you. And again, the MacBook's doing the same thing. No matter what I do, it doesn't want to play nicely. So, oh well, we're done with that. So it looks like something has changed, and I have a feeling it's in OBS because nothing else has changed hardware-wise. The MacBook is the same as it's ever been. The Xbox is the same as it's ever been. If I plug my Switch into it, there it goes. Takes a while. It just doesn't like particular sources. So obviously, you know, that's a big problem when you're a major streaming software. That's a major problem. But anyway, so I'm going to drop into, I'm actually going to drop into Xbox Live here. Wow, these people are ridiculous. So I'll let you guys follow along on this. So I tweeted out just a second ago. I said, even for free software, OBS project needs to improve reliability. Tired of OBS moving elements around on its own or crashing until PC reboot. To give you guys some background, typically what will happen is that when I close OBS at the end of the night and reopen it the next day, my capture card source window here that you see, that's this window right here, will end up being either like this or it'll end up being like this. And so I always have to manually resize it, and I have to do that in all of my scenes that have it. Typically when I run OBS, I run it with everything edit locked, meaning I can't accidentally move things around if I click on the screen. And another reason I do that is to keep the stupid red border from showing up on the windows. So there's that. So this guy, I don't know who he is. He says he works for OBS or something. He says, well, you can use edit lock if you keep accidentally moving things. Obviously, I'm not accidentally turning edit lock off, moving something, and then turning edit lock back on. So he's grasping for excuses here. And I responded to him. I said, it's not me accidentally moving things. It's the software moving and resizing elements every time I launch it. So he responds, well, there's no code in OBS that would do that. So either some third-party plugin is causing it or you're misclicking. Yeah, okay, buddy. I responded back to him, but I mean, that's the second time I've reached out to OBS, or at least mentioned OBS in something and said, you know, hey, we as streamers are having issues with certain things, like your software crashing all the time, or getting into a crash loop where the software will crash, and then every time you relaunch it, it will immediately crash until you reboot your PC. And that's crazy. I mean, I get that this is free software, but that's inexcusable. you are the top dog in streaming software. XSplit costs money. A lot of people don't use it because they can't afford it. So they're using OBS. One would have a basic expectation that OBS would work properly. At least I do. That's my personal expectation. When I download a piece of software, I expect it to work properly. They don't seem to care about that. All they care about is telling people that they're using the software wrong, or that they're misclicking, that there's nothing wrong with their software, they don't have any bugs, etc., so forth. So, whatever. It just shows what kind of organization they are if they want to keep brushing problems under the rug. And I'm not the only person that's had issues with their software. A lot of streamers have issues with their software, various different parts of the software. So for a company to just out and say, "Oh, well, you're probably just misclicking," I mean, that's terrible. First of all, it's terrible customer service. Second of all, that's terrible technical support. And third of all, it makes your company look like a joke. And I am not afraid to call out companies with bad customer service. I do it all the time because that's the only way to get attention nowadays for a particular problem. It's the only way to get something addressed, is to make it public. You can't just call up a company anymore and say, "Hey, listen, I'm having a problem with this," because 9 times out of 10 the company's going to say, "Sorry, can't help you." But the moment you post on Twitter and it starts to gain some traction, a company will bend over backwards to fix the problem, when they should have just done it in the first place. So that's why I'm not afraid to call out companies on Twitter and Facebook, on a public forum, because it brings into light their lack of caring for the end user, their lack of caring for the customer. So there you have it. Anyway, that's my rant about OBS. It's not the first time I've had issues with them. You know, I had issues with them before when the software just decided it would start streaming on its own and no notification was given on the screen. So I'd be plugging along, working on something. I'd have OBS open in the background because it crashes all the time, so I try to leave it running when I can. Otherwise, I'm forced to reboot my machine. And I'd start getting messages in the chat. And so I go and look, and lo and behold, I'm live. And I've been live for 5 or 10 minutes. Had no idea. And that's a pretty dangerous situation, because I could have private information up on the screen. I could have a whole number of different things going on. And suddenly now it's out there on the internet for everyone to watch. So I went to them and I said, "Hey, listen, how about putting in like a confirmation for your hotkeys? Because if you use a hotkey to start your stream, it bypasses that confirmation." And because I use the Elgato Stream Deck, which is a fantastic device, by the way, it bypasses that confirmation. When you click the button manually, it says, "Are you sure you want to start stream?" But when you push the start streaming button, which is tied to a hotkey in OBS, it bypasses that. It doesn't give you any notification or warning, by the way, that it's streaming. My controller just died. Switch to backup. So I went in their IRC chat. They use an IRC chat, which instantly should be a clue that something is not working right there. And there we go. And talked to somebody in their chat. I don't know who it was. Don't know if it was an employee or not. Basically said, "Hey, listen, here's my problem. I'm wondering if you guys have ever considered putting in a like a confirmation or a warning that you have to click on saying, 'Hey, are you sure you want to start streaming?' when you use hotkeys." And they said, "Yeah, you know, we talked about it, decided that if you're using hotkeys, you probably intend to bypass it anyway." And I'm like, well, you know, here's what's happening. I have a hotkey, F12 at the time, which is not used for anything else, okay? Tell me one program that uses F12. And I'll tell you that I don't have that program. So, and that's why I bound F11 and F12, particularly F12, to start stream. F11 was my end stream, because F11's used in some web browsers and stuff. So, and they were saying, oh, well, just use a different hotkey. Just use a hotkey that you don't use. And I'm like, I don't use F12. What do you use F12 for? That's like using the pause break button on your keyboard. It never gets pushed. I was like, you know, at least you could do Photoshop. There you go. I do have Photoshop, but I don't use any of the keystrokes except for like Control D to deselect stuff. So I said, how about this? How about you just put in an option? Make it an option. Do I want to confirm when using a hotkey or not? Make it a checkbox. It would take 5 minutes for a programmer to write that line of code. And they basically just laughed at me. So I was like, all right, dude, that's cool. That's cool. I don't care. Finally, what Elgato did was they updated the firmware in their Stream Deck to, which looks like this, by the way. It's really cool. It's kind of hard to see because the cord's too short, but it's upside down. They updated the firmware in their device to be able to pass through modifier keys with the hotkeys. So now I can bind like Control Alt F12 to start streaming, which is great because it didn't do that before. Now I don't have any issues with it not because OBS fixed the problem like they should have and could have, but because a third party fixed OBS's problem. And that's embarrassing for a company to have someone say that about them. Oh, we didn't fix our own problem. Someone else fixed it for us, so we don't have to worry about it. We passed the buck. Oh my God, these phone calls. So, yeah. It goes to show time after time that OBS has terrible customer service and terrible technical support. And the only reason I use their software to begin with is because, one, it's really the only thing out there that's free. And two, it's actually really easy to work in. The problem is, like I said before, is that it doesn't work 100%. It doesn't even work 90% because every night I have a stream, I have to reboot my computer in order for OBS to launch. So anyway, Ras, what's happening, guy? And Harris, how you doing, man? Welcome. I'm just going on and on about OBS because I just had some issues with them. And they're continuing to respond to me. They're continuing to respond to me right now about how it's caused by this. So this is from another person, Joel, who looks like he's from OBS support, maybe, judging on his profile. Says that could be caused by the Elgato itself providing OBS the wrong resolution, which causes the bounding box to change size, or bounding box size to change, sorry. Again, passing the buck, calling it a third-party issue. He goes on to say, but please understand that OBS has millions of users. If there was a bug that caused sources to randomly resize, we'd have heard about it. I mean, he has a point, but at the same time, just because everyone else isn't having this issue doesn't mean there isn't an issue. When there's a bug in a particular piece of software, it's not always replicatable on everybody's machine. And there probably are hundreds, thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands of people out there that haven't reported it because it's either not inconvenient to them or not inconvenient enough for them to make it known. Or they could just be bluffing and saying, oh, well, nobody's told us about that. So there you have it. Also, the other issue is that I have to reset my return audio monitor every time I relaunch the program. Ras says, heard good things about XSplit. Not sure if that's as easy to use as OBS. The problem with XSplit is that it's a paid program. It's commercialware, which means that you have to buy it. And unfortunately, for a small streamer like me, I can't afford to do that right now. I would love to have paid software. The problem is, one, I can't afford it, and two, I don't want to buy into something that's potentially garbage. I've heard of people using it, but I don't know its reliability. The thing about paid software, though, is that you actually have some sort of... The expectations, I guess, are a little higher. $199 for lifetime license. So that's pretty expensive, and you're putting all your eggs in one basket with that $200. Basically, hoping this works, because with electronic software, most of the time, there's no refunds. So if you buy it and you don't like it, or it doesn't work for you, doesn't work on your machine, you're screwed. You're out $200. You're out $199. It used to be that way with Steam. Steam used to be staunchly against giving any kind of refunds or even store credit. And I had to threaten Steam with legal action because they misrepresented the system requirements for one of their games way back in the day when I first started getting stuff on Steam. And I had screenshots of everything, and they kept denying it. And finally I said, well, listen, you can either refund my money or I can take you to court, and I have all the evidence that I need to see this through and win. And when I let them know what I had, they basically said, oh, well, we'll give you store credit. We'll give you store credit. Don't sue us. We'll give you store credit. And then, so after that instance with them, I hadn't purchased a single thing from them up until just recently. And somebody finally said, oh, yeah, now if you don't like a game, like within 2 hours of playtime on it, you can request a refund or something. So obviously they had enough issues in the past with people, enough people had issues with Steam to actually force their business model to change and say, listen, we have to give refunds or we're not going to have any customers left. This particular game said that it ran on, Windows 7 with a particular set of specs, minimum RAM, etc., so forth. My computer met and exceeded all of them. However, the one thing that wasn't mentioned in the system requirements that apparently was a requirement is that it couldn't be a laptop computer at all. Apparently, laptops are a lower class citizen in the computer world. And even though my laptop at the time was very high-end, Steam basically said, oh, it's a laptop, we don't support it, sorry, bye. And I said, well, wait a minute. Your system requirements here state that it supports Windows 7, the minimum of 4 gigs of RAM, this particular size video card, or this particular power video card, and so on and so forth, this much hard drive space, and DirectX. And they said, yep, but we don't support laptops. So that's what started that whole debacle. And that was a long and drawn-out process with Steam. They are... I'm sure they've changed their way, but I almost promise you it's been out of necessity. That's the thing, Ras. A lot of companies, particularly the United States, it goes on a state-by-state basis here, but there are refund policies or implied warranty laws. Like the state I live in, Maine, has an implied warranty law where if you buy something, it doesn't matter what it is. If you buy anything, if it fails or doesn't work within 3 years, you get your money back. And that's the law. A lot of companies don't even know about that law because it's a state law. It's not widely utilized or publicized. But there is a TV station, actually a TV station I used to work for, that has been promoting that regularly. And it's amazing how many people have come back after and said, like, listen, I had no idea about this law. It's helped me so much because now I can afford to replace that refrigerator I bought 2.5 years ago, blah, blah, blah. And a lot of countries, like Ras says, a lot of countries have particular legal rights to consumers when it pertains to refunds and stuff. And Steam was ignoring all of that. So I'm sure that they probably got sued a few times. And, you know, I suspect that many other companies will. It's silly that companies think they can go out and they can swindle people.
Okay. Supplies we found are in the...
They can swindle people out of their money. With OBS, we're not talking money, but I mean, when you're a streamer who has, I'm not going to name any names, but just say there's a streamer out there with 100,000 subscribers. You're considered a big name. And then all of a sudden, in the middle of one of your streams, you're doing like a 12-hour stream. It's, you know, a great night. You're getting tons of donations and stuff like that. And all of a sudden, OBS decides it wants to crash. And then you have to reboot your computer, and the stream splits because you're offline for more than 2 minutes. That's another thing I'll get into in a second. So all of a sudden now, as a streamer with 100,000 subscribers, you're a legitimate business. You have income, you have revenue coming in, and you have expenses, so you're a business. And if you're doing things the right way, you're paying taxes on that income. So now you're losing income because of a piece of shit software. So that causes actual monetary damages, which in the legal world, I mean, I'm not a lawyer, but I know that monetary damages are just as bad as physical damages. So you open up a can of worms with that when you know, you're a streamer that relies on something that has an implied warranty on it, meaning we are releasing this software in good faith that it will work for you. Here are the system requirements. As long as you meet the system requirements, it should work fine. If there are bugs in the software, they need to fix it. What they don't need to do is tell their customers, me, other streamers, people online, oh, sorry, it's a third-party problem. Work with that third party. Work with Elgato. Elgato officially supports OBS. So you should be working together, trying to solve these issues. But naturally, companies don't want to do the legwork. They want their customers to do the work for them. So they bounce them back and forth between... between developers, hoping that somebody will take care of it and it doesn't have to be them. Harris says that's why I don't use Steam. Yeah, Steam has a pretty bad reputation, or at least they did. I don't know if it's still the same way. I haven't had to deal with their support recently, and I'm glad I haven't, because I just know how bad of an experience I had before. But whoop. So I kind of screwed that up. I'm in the wrong spot. I was hoping I could get a shot from the rooftop here, but the railing's a little too high. So yeah, I'm just so frustrated with OBS, because it's not, like I said, not the first time I've had issues with them. And they're just so unresponsive to problems. All they want to do is make excuses instead of actually addressing the problem. And they want to say things like, oh, you know, if it were an actual issue, other people would be reporting it and stuff like that. They're basically telling me that what I'm saying is bullshit, which is the last thing you want to do to a customer. It's really the last thing you want to do. I am like totally surrounded by people here. I got some guy. Really? Okay, so I got the supplies. Happened to be the first guy I killed, which is rare, to say the least. I don't think I can get to my helicopter without getting shot up, but we're going to give it a shot here. Come on, baby. Go, go, go. Ras needs to start cooking dinner, dude. Take it easy, man. Thanks for dropping by. Nice to see you. Nice to see you. Nice to see you. And come back soon, whatever you do. $50 gift card giveaway this Saturday. So make sure you drop by, or at least try to. I know the hours are probably weird for you, but take it easy. Hopefully you can make it in for your chance to win. And for those of you who don't know, this Saturday we're doing the $50 Amazon gift card giveaway. You have to be in stream to enter and to win. Not everyone is automatically entered. Nobody is automatically entered, I should say. You have to enter manually during the stream. On the night of the stream, which is Saturday, this coming Saturday, the 23rd, I will explain on stream how to enter. My moderators will be watching the chat, making sure people are doing it properly, and it will keep things fair and balanced for everybody, which is pretty cool. It says my live stream's offline, but I don't believe that. I can't trust anything OBS says anymore. Which is funny, because even when it said it crashed before, it still allowed me to go live. It just wouldn't pop up my camera. Which is pretty funny. Anyway. So it's supposed to be a chill stream, but now I'm salty over the old OBS thing. No matter how hard I try to have a good stream with no issues, there's always an issue. Sometimes it's my lack of playing ability. Other times it's other crap, like software that I rely on, that I have unrealistic expectations of, I guess. And by unrealistic, I mean I just expect it to work, which is unrealistic. Whoa. Just land in the middle of the street here. No big deal, right? Just a random helicopter. Done. Edo has the right idea. That's why you play GTA, to let off some steam. I mean, yeah.
I got it. We're all good.
Phone's ringing.
Logging out.
Logging out. What a loser. I don't need him to tell me that I've delivered the things, because I know that I've delivered the things. Oh, man. This game. I was reading about this game online today, seeing what kind of other stuff that they're going to release for it and things. And it doesn't look like they've got a whole lot more in the pipeline for this game. I mean, this game's like, what, 10 years old now or something like that? When was this game originally released? It was originally released in 2013, so it's not 10 years old. It's about 5 years old. It was originally released September 17th, which was just actually a couple days ago, 2013. They just released a new thing. That the problem... T-Don's here too, man. How you doing? I haven't seen you in a while. It's strange when I do my stream, when I do a stream at like noontime, because I catch people that I normally wouldn't catch at night when they're in other people's streams or they're busy doing stuff. So, I was talking with a friend of mine about how difficult it is to make money in this game. You know, they have the shark cards. Rockstar sells shark cards, which is like you spend real money, you get in-game money. And because since they started doing that, because of that now, they don't care about anything else other than making everything in the game as expensive as possible. My headphones aren't fitting properly. So they make everything in-game now as expensive as possible, so that you're forced to go out and do these microtransactions or buy these shark cards for in-game money in order to get anywhere in the game. I refuse to do microtransactions in pretty much any game. There's only one game I've ever done in-app purchases for, and that was Disney's Magic Kingdoms on iOS. And even then, I only have done a certain small amount. I haven't even spent like $10, I don't think. I already paid $60 for the game. I don't feel like I should have to continue paying for the game, especially to progress through it. I expect that when I pay that initial $60, you know, that's my game. I've purchased it. When I went out in the late 80s and purchased, or when my family purchased for me, the Nintendo Entertainment System and Super Mario Brothers, I didn't have to keep paying $9.99 every time I wanted to get a mushroom or every time I wanted to get a Starman. I paid, I think it was like $20 for the game, maybe like $80 for the whole system, and that was it. I paid for it. It was mine. I could play it all day long. I could go from 1-1 to 8-4 and not have to pay a single penny. So I don't know. I don't know what this influx of doing microtransactions is. It's just a cheap way for companies to make money. And that's pretty crappy. That's a pretty crappy way to do business, because people just want to play games, man. Especially when the game costs $60 or more. I know some of the Forza titles on Xbox were like over $100, depending on what packs you wanted to get with them. And then on top of that, you still had to pay money to add things in. So, pretty ridiculous. T-Don needs to go to the orthodontist. I'm sorry to hear that. And Dana Croft is here. Hello, Dana. Thank you again for your generous donations the other night. And it's funny, now that I look down on my event bar, it didn't show up like this the other night, but...
You're bikers, right? Because the buyer wants the product biked into the back of a truck. It's good to go when you are.
Yeah, I screwed this up. The other night, it showed your donations in US dollars. But now if you look down over here, it shows them in Canadian dollars, which is kind of funny. Also, why is that back? That's weird. My donation goal, which was actually my sub goal, which doesn't work. Lots of things, lots of technological things with streaming do not work these days, it seems. The whole sub goal thing doesn't work properly, and that's through Streamlabs. OBS doesn't work properly, and that hasn't worked properly for quite some time. Elgato Capture doesn't work half the time. Starting to rain at the beginning of Hurricane Jose. So Jose hasn't even passed Cape Cod yet. What do you mean it's starting to rain? You're probably seeing like way outer bands, but I don't think it's rainy here. It's just cloudy. I'd show you the radar image from my computer, but I can't pipe my computer in through HDMI anymore because somebody did an update somewhere and broke something. I don't know if it was Apple or Elgato or OBS, but it don't work no more. Cut across country here. So I was hoping to be able to do golf with friends on stream, but now it looks like I can't do that anymore. So that's kind of a bummer. It's actually really frustrating too, because like I mentioned before, with streamers losing money, having it be a financial hit to their business, now I can't play golf with friends on stream anymore, which, you know, say that was my most popular game. Now all of a sudden I can possibly lose my subscriber base because I'm not playing golf with friends anymore. So you can see how something that seems so relatively minor to a company like OBS can have a major effect on somebody and their business. Probably play golf with friends later on solo. You don't have to play solo. I'm not going to be streaming all day, so I will gladly jump in with you. The only thing I have to do is I have to pick up my son from school in about an hour. But I'll probably only stream for another half hour or so. And then after I pick up my son, I can come back and definitely play golf with friends with you if you want. I just can't do it on stream. Yeah, message me anytime, or I'll shoot you a message when I'm ready. I gotta go pick him up around 1:15. I think you and I are in the same time zone, so 1:15 Eastern. You might be in Atlantic. Because you're out there in Canada. But I will shoot you a message. It'll only take me 5 minutes to go pick him up because the school's right across the street. You raged at it? Really? I mean, golf with friends isn't terrible. It definitely takes some getting used to. I still am getting used to certain things, particularly the jumping of the ball. You can, if you play with jumping turned on, you can actually get much better scores because you can shortcut stuff. Cool Canada kids, yeah. Canada. I got to get my passport. That's one of the things I got to have done, is have some passport photos taken and apply for my passport. I just can't afford it right now because I'm unemployed. I'm really hoping, I'm praying that the job that I applied for, they actually hire me. It's between me and I think one other person, and so we're the two finalists. And so the only thing I can hope is that they pick me over her, because the other place that I had applied actually turned me down under the assumption that the place that I just mentioned was going to hire me instead. So that obviously put me in a pretty tough position, because now I'm reliant on one company hiring me, and they haven't even indicated that they are, and they have no, no duty, no responsibility to hire me. It's up to them. So I'm really hoping that they do, because I know that I'd be a good fit for them. I feel like I haven't been convincing enough to them. Dana says, yes, come visit me, damn it. And laugh at drunk people. Do you work in a bar? Laugh at drunk people. I mean, I get uncomfortable around drunk people. I don't like idiots. I don't know if you guys have noticed this from watching my streams, but I don't like people who act like idiots. And I'm pretty open about that right here on my stream. Some people come in and they act like idiots. And I just basically destroy them. And the reason I do that is because drunk people make me uncomfortable. Or people that act like drunk people, or idiots, I guess, make me uncomfortable. Because you can't predict them. So they could do anything at any time. So in real life, drunk people make me super uncomfortable, which is why I stopped driving for Uber. I used to drive for Uber, but I had a bad experience one night where one of my passengers accused me of stealing her cell phone, even though she was in the back seat and I never got out of the front seat. She was drunk. She was like almost blackout drunk. And she was with a bunch of her friends. And she dropped her, I think she left her cell phone at the bar or something. And all of her friends kept telling her, you left your cell phone at the bar, but she was adamant that I stole her cell phone somehow. Right from under her nose while she was riding in the car. So she literally made me, like, let her search my car, tear my car apart for probably half an hour. Looking under the seats, looking, you know, all over the place. And finally I'm like, lady, I don't have your phone. Like, your friends are telling you that you left it at the bar. I'm sorry. So that was like enough for me to be like, whoa, I don't want this liability. So I stopped driving for Uber. Uber doesn't do enough, at least at the time. They don't do enough to protect the driver from people like that. And there's too many situations now in life where you can get into a really bad position based on solely what one person says. Oops. You know, thankfully it didn't go there, and thankfully there were, you know, more than one person in the car, but all one person has to say after the fact is, oh, you know, he made a comment, or oh, he touched me, or worse, and I'm in jail, you know, and I got a family to support. I got a child that depends on me and stuff like that. So it's not worth it to me. I do have a dash cam in my car though, which is vitally important whether you're driving for Uber or just commuting. I go above and beyond to protect myself because there are people out there that will do whatever they can to make a buck. And I used to run a web page actually for all of the dash cam footage that I'd capture over the whoops, should have one in this car so I can see where I'm going. So I ran a website that kept all of the video footage that I'd capture over the course of a week, all of the highlights, I should say. Every time something happened that was worth keeping, I'd push a button, it would clip that video on the card. So I'd post all that stuff. I'd get like 5-6 videos a week off my own camera. Finally, it just became so much I couldn't keep up with it. I shut the web page down, but I have a lot of the videos still online. They're all unlisted right now. Just some ridiculous shit. Thankfully, nobody ever tried anything with me, but I've seen videos where you'll be stopped at a stoplight, someone stopped in front of you, and they put it in reverse and back into you. And of course, you're stopped at a stoplight, and now this person has rear end damage and you have front end damage. What does it look like to everyone that happened? Looks like you rear ended them, right? When in reality, the person just backed up and crashed into you. It's an insurance scam. So a dash cam protects you from stuff like that. That's why I always drive with a dash cam. It's all about protecting yourself because no one else is going to protect you. So, getting back to the Uber thing, that's why I kind of stopped driving for Uber because, and not that Uber's a bad company. I think they're actually providing a really valuable service, particularly to people in cities that have lots of bars and stuff like that. And where I live, there's lots of bars. So it provides people a safe way to get home, and that's the most important thing. Don't ever drive when you're intoxicated. Don't ever drive when you've had too much to drink, or you've had drugs or something. Let someone else drive you, but at the same time, don't be a drunken dick. You know, have some sense about yourself, because too many times somebody's been put in jail based on strictly one person's word, and that's a failure in our justice system, unfortunately, that really nobody can fix but the justice system. So I'll catch up on chat here in a second, guys. I'm just trying to get this one last package delivered in the last 16 minutes I have here. Yeah, I can't stand unpredictable people either, Edo. That's the reason I don't like hanging around with drunk people. First of all, they're embarrassing. They're uncomfortable. And I never really drank to get drunk. I've been drunk maybe 3 or 4 times, like really drunk. And I just don't enjoy it, personally. I just don't enjoy it. Which is why I don't drink to get drunk. I drink because I enjoy the taste of it. But I know when to stop. Because alcohol makes me ill, makes me physically ill. So I was never the big party type that was always like, oh yeah, dude, get drunk, fucking chug it. No, that's... Like, I'm 32 years old. I don't need to do that. I'm an adult. I try to act like one as best I can when I'm not salting out over video games. I'm a 32-year-old man that plays video games, so I'm as grown up as I can possibly be. But still, it's just... It's silly. Some people are silly. Anyway, I'm going to rename this stream the Rant Stream. So I'm going to do Wednesday afternoon, or Wednesday mornings at 11 o'clock, I'm going to go on and I'm going to just rant. I'm sure I'd get some views on that stuff. Be pretty controversial. Of course, I'll stay away from politics because you don't even want to hear my views on politics. I could go on for a whole week. I'm more interested in calling out companies with shitty customer service or shitty products. However, I'm also not afraid to call out companies that do a good job. And there are definitely companies out there that do a great job or have great products. And one of those companies is Panda Express. I shit you not, okay? Best fucking orange chicken I've ever had in my life. And, I mean, it's a little expensive, but you get what you pay for. And when I go out and get a large orange chicken, it may cost $10 or $11. But I'm eating orange chicken for like the next 2 hours at that point. So, companies on my shit list. OBS, Elgato. Companies on my okay list. Panda Express. Cumberland Farms, which is a local gas station chain up here in northeastern United States. They're the ones that we get our squishes from. They're the ones that I really wanted the sponsorship from, but it just wasn't in the cards. Stormforce Games sponsored by Panda Express. I would friggin' love that. And if you guys know anyone at Panda Express that I could talk to about doing a sponsorship, I would love to eat all their orange chicken in exchange for popping their logo up in the corner of the screen and saying, I love Panda Express, because I do love Panda Express. It's not a lie. I would never endorse a company that I don't firmly believe in. That's like one of the biggest personal things with me. It's, wow, that was pretty sweet. Did you see that? It's like one of my personal, I don't really know what the word, the word's not coming to mind, but it's just a rule that I have. I'm not going to lie about a company. If I don't like a company, I'm going to come out and say it. If I like a company, I'm going to come out and say it. Panda Express has amazing orange chicken. Sarku Japan has amazing chicken teriyaki. There's a local restaurant here in nearby in a city, Portland, Maine. The original Portland, by the way. Let's just clarify that. I had to clarify that the other night on stream. Portland, Maine, the original Portland. There's a sushi restaurant that I've been eating at for probably 20 years now called Benkei. Benkei Japanese restaurant. And I know a lot of the wait staff there. And I don't personally know the head chef, but I've interacted with him on a couple of occasions. Fantastic restaurant, amazing restaurant, some of the best sushi I've ever had, and their customer service is second to none. I mean, I've been to plenty of sushi restaurants. I've been to sushi restaurants in Epcot, at Disney World, and you don't get the kind of customer service there that you get at this place here in Portland, Maine, Benkei Japanese Sushi. It's, by the way, the web address, I'm just going to plug them real quick because I love them so much. It's www.sushiman.com. Sushiman, sushiman.com. It's here in Portland, Maine, and they have a fantastic menu. They do a great job. It can get pretty busy there, and their prices have gone up, but prices with everything have gone up. I don't blame them for that. They are just unbelievable. I used to go there once a week when I worked at my old TV station back in the early 2000s, because I could afford it then. I wasn't paying rent. I didn't have a lot of bills. So it worked out really well. Harris says, let me see here. Harris says, will Del Cumberland Farms eat the orange chicken and gain moolah? What a way to live, right? Edo says, I love Sarku. Haven't been there in forever since I'm too cheap to buy food. I don't blame you. It is kind of pricey. Or it can be, depending on what you get. Sometimes they have specials. At least at the place locally. They have, you know, like their chicken teriyaki or whatever is, you know, $8 or something. Harris says, oh my god, I haven't had the actual sushi from a restaurant, just refrigerated shit. I mean, if you really want to live, go out, find a local sushi restaurant, and just patronize them. You know, go be a customer. It can be a little pricey, but it's so worth it, though. The quality of the food is worth it. Yeah, I know we do, because I just did it, dickhead. It's so worth it to actually have fresh sushi. The taste is amazing. But, you know, you get what you pay for. You want quality sushi, you gotta pay for it. My car is still here. I can't believe my frickin' car is still here. Not too cheap for sushi, since it's one of my favorite foods, but that place is too far from my family in Massachusetts. There's a few places in Mass that I have wanted to go to for sushi. Occasionally I'll get down to Boston once in a while, and there's a place along Route 1 in Saugus that is I haven't had the opportunity to try, and actually they may have closed. I think last time I remember going down there, I was covering the Boston Marathon for my TV station, and I seem to remember the place was gone. There was someplace else, I think, that I can't remember if I've actually had sushi in Boston or not. I would like to try it. I imagine they have pretty good restaurants there, being a major city. But, I don't know. Someday. Maybe someday. I tend not to cheap out on sushi either. I'm not afraid to go into not a gas station. I'll take that back. I'm not afraid to go into a grocery store and pick up a plastic, tray of sushi for $12, because generally that stuff's made the same day. It is made the same day. It's fresh-ish, and it doesn't taste too bad. I would not get sushi from a gas station, but also Sarku, Japan, our local store in a local shopping mall, used to have a sushi bar, which they closed because I guess sales weren't very good. Nobody really thought highly of mall sushi. But actually, their sushi was really good. And it's too bad they closed. I am a big fan of sushi, and I've tried lots of different types of sushi. But I stand by my regulars. Spicy tuna roll, Philadelphia roll, which is smoked salmon and cream cheese. Some places call a Philly roll it's a different type of roll, but for me it's smoked salmon and cream cheese, rice on the outside, not the other way around, with the nori on the outside. Also, I forget what the other one is that I like. It's hamachi. It's a negi hamachi is what it's called. And it's like a yellowtail with scallion. Really yummy. And then, of course, for the nigiri sushi, I do salmon. Salmon, tuna, yellowtail. And then my absolute favorite is smoked salmon sashimi. And the smoked salmon that I get from Benkei, the local restaurant I mentioned, is just the most flavorful, rich, buttery fish. I mean, it's like, it blows your mind. It's so cool. So, definitely a fan of them. I just wish I could afford to eat there more. Smoked salmon is just amazing. I could eat sushi every meal of every day. I would not have an issue with that at all. I would love it. I just can't afford it. At least right now. If I were to get this job that I was talking about earlier, I could probably afford to go eat sushi. Edo says, when I had sushi in Japan, that was so amazing. I had so much at one of those rotating sushi places. Tried every one price range, and the more expensive rolls are definitely worth it. Yeah. I envy you, dude, because I would love to visit Japan. I can't speak Japanese. But I understand that a lot of people speak English there too. I would love to visit. Again, money prevents me from doing that. But it's just the way of life. They had some weird options too, like a corn roll and a hamburger roll. I feel like those are like Americanized. So you know how like us Americans have Americanized Chinese food? You know, traditional Chinese food isn't like pork fried rice and orange chicken and barbecue spare ribs. We've Americanized that to make it palatable for our tastes. I feel like that's kind of like what you're describing there. They have like a hamburger roll, so it's like the Americanized sushi. I think that would be pretty cool to see. I would love to visit Japan, though. I've always loved just the whole society, I think. You know, they seem like an entirely different people. And they almost seem a little bit more relaxed in a way. Like, Americans are so... you think you have a picture of them? Yeah, throw it up in the Discord later. I'd love to take a look. I just love their way of life. You know, everything's so... It's almost zen in a way. And they have such beautiful scenery there, too. I mean, there are some truly beautiful places in the United States, some of which I've had the fortune of being able to actually visit. But a lot of the country, I've never been west of like Orlando, Florida. If you were to, you know, draw a line, a longitude line, I've never been west of Orlando. So I haven't seen a lot of the United States. But some of the most beautiful places in the country are up here in the Northeast, Mount Washington, in New Hampshire, Acadia National Park in Bar Harbor, Maine. Lots of very beautiful places, and I know that there are many others out there. But I know that Japan is just like, some places are just, I couldn't even describe it. Just beautiful. Harris went to this one place, got ice cream made in house, and they're bringing out this giant plate. And I'm thinking, shit, I'm fucked. And there are 3 tiny scoops in the middle. Wow, you got faked out, dude. They were like, haha, tricked you. Check out this giant plate for 3 spoonfuls of ice cream. Sucks to be you. That'll be $45, please. Because we have to pay somebody to wash that giant dish now. I would be irate. As I finish my Gatorade here. I mean, I'm irate anyway, but I would be irate. I think it's kind of funny, though. Hey, where's all the ice cream? Who ate it? Who was the jerk that left me these 3 little nubbins of ice cream? I have tons of photos from, it was pretty good though, flavored with rose water, really? Hey, don't honk at me, dickhead. That's what happens when you honk at me. Rose water. I mean, I guess though I didn't get why it was yellow. So I don't even know what rose water is. Is it literally like water that you soaked roses in? Or is it like rose juice or something? Like I mean, it sounds really nice. Sounds like something somebody would take a bath in, honestly. That's crazy. I've had some really cool stuff. I've had, I think they call it fried ice cream, but it's not really a fried ice cream as much as it is an ice cream that's wrapped in like fondant. And they have like green tea flavored and then like mango flavored. And it's basically like I described, it's a little ball of ice cream wrapped in cake fondant. Pretty sure it's boiled roses and the flavor gets extracted. That's pretty cool. Does it taste good though? I mean, most plants don't really taste very good, particularly flowers. Flowers are meant to kind of be bitter tasting, I think. But yeah, so the fried ice cream thing was pretty cool. I've had, like, we have fairs. We have agricultural fairs up here because we're in Maine. We're, like, mostly rural. So farms are a big thing. Agriculture is a big thing. It tastes like how roses smell. Well, I guess that's kind of pleasant then. So we have a lot of agricultural fairs, and so what happens is at fairs, at county fairs, at state fairs, you know what happens. You get the midway with all the food, like the fried food and everything, and there's always a cart that has like deep fried Oreos and deep fried Twinkies. And so I guess the latest creation is deep fried cream horns or deep fried cannolis, depending on what you want to call them. So naturally, every year that I go to these fairs, which is every year, I get a deep fried cannoli or a deep fried cream horn, and it is amazing, absolutely amazing. I know, right? Like like it's already like I guess baked. I guess would be the shell is I think baked, right? Because it's like a flaky dough. But you take that whole thing, you dip it in the batter, whatever it is that they use. I don't want to go this way. You dip it in the batter, and then you drop it in the deep fryer, and it comes out in this big wad of like the thing's like the size of a potato. It comes out, and you just like start taking chunks out of it, and it's warm, and you get into it where the icing is in the middle or the filling is, and you get a gob of that when you eat it. It's like, oh wow, so good. Next time I go to the county fair this fall, which actually should be happening like next week, I think. I'm gonna grab a picture of it. I'm gonna grab a picture of me eating it. Actually, what I'll probably do is when I go to the fair, it'll be in the evening more than likely. I'll just do a live stream from the fair. How's that sound, guys? Because now that we're at 100 subscribers, I can actually do mobile live streams right from my phone. So I'd be happy to do some mobile streams for you guys. It won't look fancy like this and have all the graphics and stuff, but I will when we go to the county fairs this fall, which, like I said, should be happening. I think that might even start this coming weekend. So maybe after we do the $50 giveaway, I'll work on doing a fair live stream. Fair idea. Funny. So guys, I gotta cut out of here pretty soon. I gotta leave in about half an hour. I gotta pick up my son from school. They have an early release day today. Every Wednesday's early release. And then I will be back. I probably won't come back on stream until tonight. But we will do a stream tonight at 10 p.m. our regular time. I will probably play Mario Kart 8 Deluxe tonight. And I'm going to try to play a little Zelda. I know last time I played Zelda, last couple times, it's been less than stellar. Well, I'm always second-guessing myself. Always, all the time. Dana's gotta go. Okay, Dana, you still down for some golf with friends later? I don't know why they pick Wednesday. I really don't. It is kind of an odd day to do early release. You'd think they'd do like a Friday or something. Also, it's really tough on parents. Dana, yes, I'll hit you up when I'm ready. All right, man, take it easy. Or, you know what I mean. I don't mean man in the literal sense of the word. I mean man as in, all right, dude. Which also I don't mean in the literal sense of the word. This is not a helicopter. Why am I parking in a helicopter spot? So yeah, I don't know why they choose to do it. I mean, it's nice to have my little guy home an hour early on Wednesdays, but at the same time, if I were employed in a job right now, it would be actually pretty inconvenient because I'd have to make arrangements for him. So that's the one good thing about being unemployed. And it's almost not worth it, but he's my son, and he's incredibly important to me. So if it were any other reason, I would say there's no reason to be unemployed. But it's so nice to be able to spend time with him during the day now, because for the past 5 years, I've been working constantly. And the company that I worked for was very not family friendly. They honestly could care less that I had a child. And so they made it so that my schedule was as inconvenient to me as possible. And not because the company required it to be that way, just because they wanted to make sure that I knew that they were in control. So, and that's really unfortunate. That's a bad way to keep employees. I really liked working there. I loved the people I work with. They were all amazing, except management. And that was the reason that I got out of television. That's the reason I got out of commercial television. They really ruined it for me. And it's sad when they take that personal connection out of work. Some people will say, oh, well, it's a job, you shouldn't expect anything from them. But at the same time, you have to treat your employees well. Otherwise, you're not going to keep employees. And this place could not keep employees. It was a revolving door constantly. People coming and going, leaving and getting hired and getting fired and quitting. And finally, I was one of those people that just quit. Granted, I gave them 6 weeks notice, so. And I also gave them several opportunities to, make changes to my schedule to allow me to stay. But it is what it is, All they care about are ratings and profits. And they'll get those with or without me on staff, so. Anyway. So I don't really know what I'm doing right now. I'm just kind of flying around killing time. But what I was saying earlier is I was thinking about playing Zelda tonight. Now that I'm thinking about it, I may not. I may do some Super Mario Maker and some Mario Kart and some Jackbox. I've said I was going to play some Jackbox the last few nights and haven't done it, so I'll definitely play some Jackbox tonight. I don't think I'm going to actually play Zelda on stream until I'm much better at it, because it's just, I feel like it's a waste of time for me to play it on stream, especially when I'm not good at it. Harris, alright, man. Yeah, definitely. Maker's been kind of tumultuous the last couple times I've played it, but I can generally get through a few levels before I get too salty. Super Mario Maker is kind of coming to its end, I think, both commercially and on my stream. I just, like, I don't know. It's kind of run its course, I think. It's a creative game, so you can still make new stuff. But the issue is that all the levels now that people are making are just these super difficult, impossible levels. And they're not the type of levels that I enjoy playing. And because I'm not a pro player, it's like, it just doesn't translate well to my stream, the way I play games. So that's kind of why I've distanced myself from it for a while. We used to play the shit out of that game when I first started streaming, back when I streamed with Mike and Ariel on Jam. We'd play it every night. And we would have people sending levels in every night. But now people aren't even sending levels in because they know that I'm not going to play them. I'm not going to play the levels that are, you know, 5%, 1%, 4%. I actually locked out those levels. But even some of the levels now that I'm playing are super difficult. And that's not fun. I've been having a lot of issues with a lot of games lately. You know, Mario Kart Deluxe has its issues. You know, even GTA has some issues at times. But I get salty, I'll move on. Jackbox is really the only game where I haven't had too many problems with. And thankfully, it's because it's a trivia game. It's pretty hard to mess up. But, you know, I can't get by on just Jackbox. I'd love to be able to play golf with friends and City Skylines and PUBG. Unfortunately, I just don't have a computer that can do it right now. Edo says I'd maybe stream Zelda for the Divine Beast stuff. Should take up to 1 to 2.5 hours at the most. Yeah, I don't even know what that is yet. I just have to play more. I have to get more familiar with the game. Because right now people are like throwing out terms and stuff, and I'm like, I don't know what that is. I'll come right out and say I've got no clue what that means. So, you know, I need to get more familiarized with the game. And at least try to figure out how to play and what I'm doing, because right now it looks like you gave like a 6-year-old calculus homework. Like, that's what it is to me. It's like, I don't understand this at all. Partially because I've never played a Legend of Zelda game before, and partially because the game is very non-intuitive. It's very like, you're gonna play this on your own. Good luck. We're not going to tell you how to do anything. You have to figure it out on your own. That's a bad way to make a game. But people are playing it. I mean, it's crazy popular. So they must be doing something right, because people are spending $60 on this game. I think I paid, well, I didn't pay anything. Beastie McBeast was generous enough to purchase the game for us, but and I think he paid $49.95. He donated $49.95 towards it, which is $10 off because I got it on Amazon, but I had to wait for it to be shipped, so it was worth it. But I just don't find it intuitive, and partially because I'm kind of Zelda dumb. I'm kind of Zelda retarded because I've never played one before. I never even played the original. Yeah, I mean, like, I feel like they should at least make it an option. Like, okay, if, like, we understand that some people don't like to have super in-depth tutorials, so instead we're going to make it an option for you. If you don't want the tutorial, you can skip it or turn it off. But for those of you who like just bought a Switch, and this is one of the few games that's out for it right now, like, and you want that option, there you go. I'm like dogfighting this guy right now. He finally got me. That son of a bitch. That son of a bitch finally got me. Yeah, people complain, and unfortunately, some people have the ability to complain about something and get what they want. And unfortunately, those people ruin it for everyone else. So, it is what it is. Guys, I'm going to call it good right here. Whoops. Actually, I wanted to switch to this one here. Hello. I don't... Oh, he says just the bounty. Of course, I realized I had a bounty. I'm going to call it good here. Let me take a look online real quick and see who's streaming. We're going to do a raid on somebody before I go. Just to send the love over to someone else. I think I know who I'm going to raid. But I want to make sure that they're actually on and playing something right now. I'm trying to figure out why YouTube took away the channel names on live videos now, or on their page. Because now it's hard to tell who's who. So let's go to our raid screen here, and I will post in our chat. We're going to go storm raid Blue Farhan. Blue's a great friend of my channel. He's a moderator here. Storm raid. And you all know Blue. So go say hi. Click that like and subscribe. I'll be on later on tonight around 10 o'clock Eastern time. I'll keep you guys updated in the Discord. I'll be on and off the Discord throughout the day. So if you guys want to chat or hang out or whatever, I'll be there. But anyway, thanks for hanging with me. Thanks for dealing with all the crap at the beginning of the stream with the testing of technology and stuff. And I'll see you guys later on tonight. Have a good night, everyone.